December 20th, 10:15 a.m. District Courtroom number 5. Oh, we're going right into the courtroom. We're not even going to be in the lobby deliberating. Right into the courtroom we go. Let's go, y'all. Day 2 of this trial. Court is now in session. All rise. For the honorable... Wait, where's the judge? He's being scared. I suppose we should reconvene the trial of Solomon Starbuck or something.
Objection!
Your Honor? Could you please come out from under your bench? There are no more bombs, I promise.
Oh, yes, my apologies. I'm still a little jumpy when it comes to trials involving bombs. I mean, first the courtroom exploded.
Then this fucking guy.
And then Mr. Tonate himself self-destructed.
I guess that's one way of describing what happened to Tonate.
Anyway, it seems that Mr. Justice was seriously wounded by Mr. Tonate's actions. So you, Mr. Wright, will be taking up the defense. Do you have an understanding of what has happened in the trial so far?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense is ready.
Very well. Is the prosecution also ready?
It's the first time against Blackwell versus... Or it's the first time it's Wright versus Blackwell. So, we'll see how this goes.
I take it you'd like me to give the opening statement this time?
Looks like the judge has become a pretty good mind reader. Well, he's certainly seen more than his fair share of colorful prosecutors. You could say he's something of a veteran of sorts.
Let's see. In the previous part of this trial, we learned that the victim, Clay Terran, escaped from Launchpad 1 carrying the defendant Solomon Starbuck. There were explosions on the second floor of the Space Center and on the rocket itself. The two astronauts used the Launchpad 1 corridor to reach the boarding lounge.
I'll get there eventually. Sorry, my voice is... because I just ate lunch. Sorry.
And? How could the victim climb down the ladder if he was carrying the defendant? That was the mystery that needed to be solved. But Mr. Justice proved that the victim was killed in the boarding lounge. Prosecutor Blackwell, were you able to discover any new facts related to this point?
Upon further investigation, we discovered an oxygen tank fragment in the lounge. Surprisingly, it would appear that Justice Dono's argument was correct. So that means the testimonies of the first two people on the scene are suspect. Indeed.
There were two people who claimed to be the first on the scene, but can we truly trust their statements?
Let's see, the two people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? Unfortunately, Miss Arm is dead. You think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police?
Yes, it's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging.
And just as our team was about to cross-examine Detective Arm, the courtroom bombing incident occurred, and the trial was put on hold.
That accursed fellow. He killed my witness. He killed Detective Arm.
He definitely put the kibosh on anyone asking her about what she saw.
Exactly. In other words, the question of who killed the victim in the boarding lounge has once again become the main focus of this trial.
It's obvious Prosecutor Blackwell still thinks it was Mr. Starbuck. Fulbright said that Blackwell has a thing against the astronaut. Nevertheless, the defense argues there was a third person in the lounge, and that's who killed the victim.
Objection!
Here we go.
Huh. To make such reckless claims in a courtroom takes a bold man, or a stupid one. There was no third person in the boarding lounge, or have you gone dotty already? Old man.
Objection!
We'll see who's the dotard after I trounce you with my years of experience, little boy. In any case, Mr. Starbuck claims he saw someone leaving the lounge. Furthermore, a Space Center employee also saw a suspicious figure at the scene.
They saw a third person.
Yeah.
Huh. I see my sister has been running her mouth.
Wow, he already knew. He's like, fuck her. That's right. I almost forgot that Aura is Prosecutor Blackwell's sister. No matter. She didn't see this mystery person's face clearly. Therefore, there is no evidence to indicate that this person was not the defendant. I guess the possibility that the figure was Mr. Starbuck is still there. In brief, we need to determine if a third person was there or not. To this end, we should hear the testimony of one of the first people on the scene. Director Cosmos, huh? Oh boy, here we go.
Very well. Bailiff, please bring the witness to the stand.
Alright, right to it, y'all. Here he is. Old man himself.
Why, I believe I've seen you before in the newspapers.
Of course you have. Of course you have, for I am Yuri Cosmos, director of the Cosmos Space Center, which was of course named after me, Yuri Cosmos.
Cool?
Don't you have anything you wish to ask me?
Looks like he's all geared up to do some bragging. Damn right.
7 years ago, I successfully launched the Hat 1 and...
Silence! I'm surprised he didn't say that. Everyone already knows how brilliant you are. Even I'm trying to hold back my tears at seeing such a great man standing before me. So could you please proceed directly to your important testimony?
Ha ha ha! I see this fine young lad has a proper appreciation for greatness. Then allow me to begin my epical testimony that will be recorded in the annals of history.
That speech of Prosecutor Blackwell's just now, it sounded more to me like he was poking fun at Director Cosmos. It's probably for the best that it sailed right over the director's head. Oblivious.
Now then, Director Cosmos, the condensed version of your illustrious testimony, please.
Here we go. What's he gonna say? We haven't heard this yet, so let's see what he has to say. What I saw at the scene.
Detective Arm and I rushed towards the boarding lounge together. We went via the control room and peeked in from there to see what was going on inside. We saw a figure standing in the middle of the lounge and Terran lying on the floor. I hate to say it, but I could only imagine the standing figure must have been Starbuck.
That's it? That's all you have to say?
I see. So in your testimony you claim, you arrived on the scene after the two had escaped from the launch pad to the lounge, and just after the victim had been killed.
Oh, the horror, the humanity! But what I said is what I saw, and what I saw is what I said. Courageous action to take in the face of such terrifying explosions, wouldn't you say? To save my men, I went personally into the epicenter of danger. Risking my own life for theirs! Ha 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 ha!
Well, what do you know? Sounds like the director really cares about his men. Yeah. Although it sounds more like he was scared and just had a peek from far away.
Is the defense ready to cross-examine the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Director Cosmos' testimony is pretty vague. I'm going to have to press him and draw out more information before I do anything else. Yup. I was going to say, I have nothing to go off of here. So we're going to have to just press and hope we get more information. Because everything he said here, not helpful. Rush toward the lounge together, huh?
Hold it!
Where were you coming from?
The 6th floor. We were making sure any stragglers made their way to the 4th floor. It was then we heard about Starbuck and Terran and hurried to the 3rd floor lounge. On my galactic scooter here, of course.
Why do you keep calling it galactic? Does it have something to do with space?
Of course, it's specifically designed to be used on galactic battleships.
I see. Then I take it works in 0G too?
Sadly, no, with the current state of technology as it is. I'm afraid it would just float about and be galactically useless.
Well, that's a galactic bummer.
I see. So you rushed to the boarding lounge on your space-age pogo stick. And when you got to the scene, what did you see?
I already see a hole in that testimony. How did he get there from the 6th to the 4th floor if the elevators were out and he's on his stupid scooter? But anyway, Where's the control room peeked in there from see what's going on outside? Okay, press this one.
Hold it!
Hold it, bitch! Let's see. According to this diagram, you didn't have to go through the control room to get to the boarding lounge 1. Looks like you could have gone there from the southern corridor as well.
Yes, but in her haste, Detective Arm rushed ahead of me towards the control room. All I could do was merely follow behind her.
I see.
So we peeked into the boarding room lounge from the control room door, and, we saw a figure standing in the middle of the lounge and Taryn lying on the floor.
Okay.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see who that figure was clearly or what they were doing?
Sadly, the only thing I could tell was that it was a person standing motionless.
The defendant, no doubt, staring aghast at his deed. What other explanation is there? I'm so close, but without evidence, I can't prove that person's the third party.
I don't relish in this, and... hate to say it, but I can only imagine the standing figure must have been Starbuck. Hold it!
Why you say that? Aura Blackwell also saw a suspicious figure in the lounge, but she gave the statement that it was too dark to see the person's face clearly. Did you see this figure's face clearly?
No, not clearly. The lighter they were holding illuminated the area around their feet at the time. But other than that, I could see little else. That's why I could see Taryn, but I couldn't see who the other person was.
So for all you know, it might not have been Mr. Starbuck. Is that correct?
I would like to believe that. Starbuck isn't the type of man who's capable of murder.
Objection!
When the witness entered the boarding lounge, there was no third person there. Isn't that correct, Great Space Center Director?
Yes, that's right. Only Starbuck and Taryn were there by that time. After we peeked in, the lounge suddenly went dark and the figure vanished.
You mean they disappeared? That's odd.
Objection!
The reason the figure appeared to vanish is because it was the defendant. When the witnesses weren't looking, he fell to the floor and feigned unconsciousness.
Hold it!
Hold on. Director Cosmos, did you ever take your eyes off of the scene?
Just for a brief instant, about as long as it takes for a shooting star to go by.
If you took your eyes off the scene, then this third person could have escaped during that time.
But what escape route could this person have used?
The direction opposite the control room, the southern door to the elevators. Yeah, they could have went that way. There's no security lock on that door, so it would have been possible to escape that way.
Objection!
All things are possible, right, Dono? The real question is, do you have any proof? Well... If we're just talking possibilities, we could each profess whatever we'd like. An inmate who used to be a university student and a lunar researcher used to say that there is a kingdom of little green men who live under the surface of the moon. As long as they don't punish us in the name of said moon for what we've done to it. But I say, where's your proof that this quaint kingdom exists? He's calling your theory a work of fiction, boss. And he's right. I don't have any proof yet. Still. The southern door was a possible escape route. I'd better make a mental note of that. Okay. Director Cosmos, may I ask you a question?
Yes?
Why did you look away from the boarding room lounge? I keep calling it the boarding room lounge, I don't know why.
Ha ha! There's actually another tale of bravery behind the answer to that. It was when Detective Arms saw the figure and raised her gun. Being a great humanitarian and protector of mankind, I tried to stop her.
What? You're saying Detective Arm raised her gun as soon as she saw the figure?
I imagine her instincts as a detective told her they were the killer.
I don't know about that. And we're able to prevent Detective Arm from firing her gun?
I'm afraid I was too late. I wasn't able to stop her. She identified herself clearly, and then she fired 2 warning shots at the shadowy figure.
2? Where did the other one hit?
This information about Detective Arm's actions sounds critically important. Please add it to your testimony.
All right. Okay, 2 bullets. I have an idea of where they both went. I do have an idea. She fired 2 warning shots, but let's press on it, and I'll tell you if we get to it.
Hold it!
And neither of those 2 shots hit the culprit?
That is correct. The detective appears to have missed on purpose.
But did she really? There's something about this that bothers me. So Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots, did she? That's the first time that info's come out. Wonder if I can find any inconsistencies. Well, we haven't proven where the second bullet went. I can probably guess where it went, though, is what I'm trying to say. But just because I can guess doesn't mean that Phoenix believes there's 2. So let's go ahead and present something about there being only 1 bullet hole. Right? Single bullet hole, not 2 was found. But I can tell you right now, it's not this bullet, because we heard this came from a different gun, right? So this tells me that maybe whoever fired the other gun was shooting back at Detective Arm, hence why they shot 2 bullets. That's what this tells me, is a maybe. Don't know that for a fact yet, but that's a maybe. But also they hella missed if they did, because they shot the wrong direction. So things are all fucked up with the directions right now. Also, anyway, I think the other bullet hit the oxygen tank, and that's why the oxygen tank got broken in the long run. Because the picture, or if you remember, do we have a picture of the? We don't have a picture of when they're of the video. Oh, here it is. The oxygen tanks are both working here, so I think one of the bullets hit his oxygen tank after he was already dead, probably, but. Maybe not. It was probably after he got stabbed. Either way, that's where the 2 bullets went. One into the oxygen tank and one into the wall. But right now, we don't know that. So I'm just going to present this.
Objection!
Single bullet hole. Are you sure you were really paying attention to what Detective Arm was doing?
You doubt my words? Words that will someday be written down in history books?
Wow, he getting mad and he revving up that engine. Somehow, I don't think that those exact words will ever be written down in any history books.
Mr. Wright, could you please explain yourself so that we can all understand?
You say that Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots, and yet only 1 bullet hole was ever found at the scene.
What?
Only 1 bullet hole means the gun was only fired once. And yet Director Cosmos is saying Detective Arm fired 2 shots. No editor would allow such a glaring contradiction into a history book.
Objection!
Here we go. Unfortunately for you, the witness's words are true. We confirm that 2 shots were fired from Detective Arm's gun.
Objection!
But there was only 1 bullet hole at the scene. Where did the other bullet hole vanish to? Oh, here it comes. Ah! You should know the answer to that already. I should? Yep, there it is. During the previous trial, a certain oxygen tank was presented as evidence. We've already discussed that it was ruptured in the lounge, have we not? Well, it appears that the thing that ruptured it was a bullet. A bullet that was found near the tank, to be precise. This bullet was fired from a .38 caliber gun, the same caliber as the detective's gun. What? Well, there you go. Oxygen tank record record. The rifling marks also match up. There's no question that the bullet was fired from Detective Arm's gun. Bullet from Arm's gun. Okay. Well, there you go. I already figured that, but now we confirmed it.
Rifling marks. They're like a gun's fingerprints on a bullet, correct? And examining the rifling marks on a bullet can tell us if the gun it was fired from.
One of the bullets the detective fired found its way into the holographic image display. The other bullet came to a stop near the victim's oxygen tank. The evidence confirms the director's statement that the detective fired 2 shots. My beautiful contradiction. Gone. All gone. So that bullet hole from the .38 caliber, huh? I'd better update the record. Bullet hole update. Okay.
Very good. Now we know the fate of both of the shots Detective Arm fired. Mr. Wright, does that clear up all of your questions?
Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots. One hit the holographic display and the other hit the oxygen tank. Does that really clear up everything about what happened at the scene? I mean, no. No, it does not. No! No, Your Honor, it doesn't. Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots from a .38 caliber gun. But that doesn't explain the existence of a certain piece of evidence found at the scene. A piece that points to the existence of a third person. Oh? It's the other bullet, right?
Very well, but it won't do to keep us waiting, Mr. Wright. What piece of evidence suggests the possibility of a third person at the scene?
I mean, it has to be the other bullet, right? Because it's a different gun. Who had this gun?
Take that!
And what is this metal pellet supposed to be?
Just a little something of great importance we found at the crime scene, Your Honor.
You found it where?
In a floor gutter at the crime scene. It looks like the police and prosecution both missed it. Furthermore, this is a .10 caliber bullet, making it much smaller than one of Detective Arm's .38 caliber bullets.
Then that means...
Exactly. One more person must have been there in the lounge. A third person who had a gun that could fire 10 caliber bullets. Sorry, I forgot which voice was his for a second. And if that's true, it explains why Detective Arm fired warning shots. This third person fired at Detective Arm and the Director Cosmos with their gun. And in return, the detective fired her warning shots. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos?
Ha ha ha! It looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us.
What's this now?
What the fuck? Why you hold back information? Because he's a fucking liar and he's in on it. He's in on the whole cover-up. This son of a bitch. What? You never breathed a word of any of this to me before.
Ha ha ha!
Jesus.
Well, all great men have a secret or two, don't you know?
Foolish old geezer. So Director Cosmos really has been hiding the presence of a third person all along. Director Cosmos, I want you to testify to the court about what you really saw.
You may be a very great man, but in my courtroom you are just another witness. You won't receive special treatment here. Now please, give accurate testimony.
Yeah, fucking liar. Or holdbacker. What I really saw. We always have to do this with everybody who fucking witnessed anything. What you saw? No, what you really saw.
Detective Arm and I rushed to the control room together. In the lounge, we saw a figure standing in the middle of the room and tearing on the floor. We were still in the control room on the east when the figure fired at us.
Given that there was no third person in the lounge when the witness entered, does this mean the person who fired the gun had to have been the defendant?
Not necessarily. It's still possible that it was someone else. Most likely as soon as Detective Arm and Director Cosmos discovered this person, they escaped through the southern door, the one that didn't have a security lock.
Objection!
Double-edged swords are a tricky lot. Mishandle one, and it is you who is cut down. Huh? Your reasoning could apply if Spaceboy were the killer as well. Think about it. After being discovered, he could have fired the 10 caliber gun. Detective Arm would have responded by firing 2 warning shots. All he had to do was feign unconsciousness to invent the possibility of a third person.
Objection!
Where'd the gun go then, bitch? But Mr. Starbuck didn't have a gun in his possession when he was found by the police. Nor has a gun been found at the crime scene. Its absence can only mean, or can only be explained, if there was a third party who took it with them.
Objection!
Recall the existence of a trash chute in the boarding lounge. The defendant could have simply thrown the gun down the chute.
Objection!
But you can't deny the possibility of a third person leaving with the weapon.
Objection!
It's up to you to prove that possibility. And I trust you haven't forgotten my little piece of decisive evidence. What evidence? Why, the detonator switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, naturally. The most compelling evidence of all that tells us he is the culprit. Ah! I did forget all about that. Look, your baldness, how deliciously obvious it is that they lack the evidence to rival mine. Wow, he sliced our third-person theory to ribbons and served it to us just like that.
Yes, well, I have a question of my own, actually. That bullet that the mysterious figure shot, what did it hit exactly?
Wait, what?
It hit me.
What?
So does that mean you're a ghost?
Dude, it didn't kill him, obviously, if it did hit him. I was wondering when you would realize it, your baldness. Director Cosmos is an authentic bona fide ghost. He can even pass through walls. Stop. Just stop.
Eek!
Just stop. You're being ridiculous now. Prosecutor Blackwell, shame on you for teasing the nice old gentleman. Your baldness. It was all in jest. Please show yourself again. God. Ridiculous.
Are you sure? In that case, how did you manage to survive being shot, Director Cosmos?
Ha ha ha! I keep wanting to do that every time he does that.
Ha ha ha! I'm glad you asked. It was a miracle befitting a great history-making figure such as myself. The bullet hit my glorious Medal of Honor, whereby it ricocheted, thus saving my life.
What?
So, okay. Okay. So I was going to start to say there's some contradictions on the direction of where the bullet was, but if it really did bounce off of his medal, which if there's a little ding on his medal, I can believe it. Because, like, that bullet, the little 10 caliber bullet, didn't really have a mark where it hit. It was just, it had just fallen in the grating, and I don't know how it got there, right? There would have been a mark somewhere that it hit and then fell in the grating if that was the case, right? Anyway, that's unbelievable. I have to check this out. Oh, wow. Look at that. There's one extra Gyoxa star. I guess that's true. I didn't really notice it on his lapel before, but yeah, okay. The odds are literally astronomical. I guess it really was a miracle. It's beginning to really feel like the Cosmos is watching out for Director Cosmos.
But why did you conceal this information, Director Cosmos?
A great man such as myself has to hide things on occasion, no matter how much it hurts. It is the plight of the truly great. It may be hard for this generation to understand.
I don't know, but it sounds fishy to me. What else is he hiding? Let's just cross-examine him and see what else we can find out. I agree with that.
Now then, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Hell yeah, dude. Poking those holes, baby. I'm not sure what we're gonna poke a hole in now yet. Because what I was thinking is, for a second there, until they came up with this ricochet idea, I was thinking like maybe he came in from the other side of the elevator doors and it all got switched around, right? So that means the person fired toward the elevator door, hence why the bullet was near that direction. And then, you know, they fired the other way around. But I guess, I don't know. It could work either way. But if it was that way, then that means whoever did it would have had to escape through the control room, right? So, I don't know. It's still possible, right? But we can only assume that I think Cosmos is the only one that had access to the control room, right? So it's like no one else could have went that way. That's the only reason why this still checks out for now. Until we find some other piece of information. But yeah, okay, the rest of the control room together. Let's just press everything again.
Hold it!
How could you poke a hole in a ghost? Watch me. Watch me, Omega. Anyway, we've already heard all about that part. Don't you have any new information?
Well, let me see. If you have an hour or two, I could tell you all about the Hat One Miracle.
No. We already know all about that, too. Tell us about something related to this incident.
I see. You want to know about incidents? Well then, let me tell you about the many incidents that made me the man I am today. Yes, if you have the time, I will tell you all about the upbringing of this great man.
Hold it!
You've told us all about that already as well. What we need now is your testimony.
Did I really already tell you all about my upbringing? I don't recall doing so.
Director Cosmos, perhaps you could save your boastful tales for later.
If I must. Well, we peeked in through the control room and... in the lounge, we saw a figure standing in the middle of the room. A chair was on the floor.
Okay, press.
Hold it!
But it was so dark, you couldn't see this figure's face. Isn't that right?
Yes, the room was as deep and dark as outer space itself. Speaking of outer space, during the Hat 1 launch 7 years ago...
If it's about that Hat 1 miracle again, you can saw it off and tell it to a stray mutt.
Ha ha ha! Excellent idea. No reason why the animal world shouldn't hear of my greatness.
And so they shall. But first, your testimony. What happened next? Talk to dogs all you want. Just leave me out of it.
We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us.
Oops. Okay, so Director Cosmos was in the control room to the east. And while he was there, he was shot at by someone with a 10 caliber gun. But the bullet hit his metal, so he was able to escape with his life. He's a very lucky man. No wonder people think he's great. Hey, I'm pretty lucky myself, so if he's a great man, then I'm a king of all cosmos. Nice reference, Phoenix. Nice reference. Good old Katamari reference. GG. Okay, I didn't mean to go past that, by the way. I wanted to press that. So in other words, you were fired at while you were at the control room door.
That is correct.
There's something not quite right about that. Director Cosmos, the bullet this person fired hit you, isn't that right?
Yes, it was a miracle. A miracle befitting a great history-making figure such as myself. The bullet the figure fired hit me while I was in the control room. But as the Cosmos would have it, the bullet bounced off my glorious Medal of Honor.
In that case, the bullet should have wound up somewhere around the control room door. Okay, so my theory about the bullet being in the wrong spot is still good. It did seem weird that it would ricochet so far away, right? Okay, so Director Cosmos was in the control room to the east. Yeah, okay, so my theory about him coming in through the other door is still right. Okay. So, okay, my contradiction is here. But is it just the layout of the room? Is that what we need to present? Like where it was found, along the south wall? Maybe we just have to present the bullet because that's where it says where the thing was found. That's the only thing we have that has anything to do with like the direction of where the bullet was at. I guess we'll just present this again because it was found by the south. That's all I can think of.
Objection!
Director Cosmos, I believe you are telling this great court a glorious lie.
A great man like me tell a lie? Have you ever heard of such a thing in all of history?
My accusation is based on the positions of the people who were in the lounge. According to your testimony, you and Detective Arm were near the control room door, and the mysterious figure was standing in the middle of the boarding lounge. If, as you say, the figure fired a gun at you from this position, then the bullet would have traveled in this direction. Uh-huh. However, we found the 10 caliber bullet here. Yeah, way the fuck over there.
Ah!
This trajectory and where the bullet was actually found contradict each other. Director Cosmos, where were you really when you were being shot at?
Go!
Wow. Spinning around on the Segway. Hilarious. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the human merry-go-round.
Objection!
Oh boy, what do you got for me now, Blackwell?
Don't tell me you've forgotten already. Didn't the witness himself just tell you? The bullet hit his metal. Of this, there is no mistake.
Objection!
But in that case, the bullet should have been found near the east side of the room. Are you trying to say that you can explain this inconsistency? Of course. I didn't think so. Wait, what? Oh, great Director Cosmos.
Yes? Is there something you'd like me to expound upon?
You were in fact not in the control room to the east, were you? You were looking into the lounge from the door to the south. Is that not right? It's the only way that works.
Gah!
What are you getting at? Use your own brain. Your head must have some use other than housing that bird's nest. Bird's nest? Why does everyone pick on my hair, man? Director Cosmos and the detective witnessed the scene from the southern door. The killer fired at them there, and that is why the bullet was found in the south. Ah, that makes some sense, actually. Also, the witness being at the southern door is rather favorable for the prosecution. Huh? I've got a bad feeling about this. How about it, Director, if you don't tell the truth this time? Uh-oh, he just broke his shit.
Breaks his handcuffs.
You will become but rust upon my sword. I relish the chance to cut down a great man.
All right, I'll tell you the truth. Just put your sword away. You are correct. I, the great Yuri Cosmos, was looking into the room from the southern door.
What? Then why? It's so garbage that we have to listen to these people tell all these lies and then still take any of their testimony into account at all and not be like, well, this guy's just a straight up fucking liar. Let's not listen to him anymore. Anyway, that's the complete opposite of all the testimony he's given so far. And now you've lost your possibility that a third person was in the room. I have? How? The director and the detective were near the southern door, meaning the killer couldn't have escaped through there. The western door required print recognition. The corridor beyond was filled with smoke. The only escape route left was the eastern control room door. And the only way to get through there was the director's Cosmos's Cosmos's fingerprints. Ah! In short, there would be no escape for any third person had there been one. Ah! My third person just disappeared, like in one of Trucy's magic tricks. Ah, shit, dude. That's not good.
Order! Order in the court! Director Cosmos, why did you tell such an outrageous lie?
Well, you see, Your Honor, I'm just a fucking liar.
You were covering for the defendant. Isn't that right?
Yes, it was all for the love of my men. If I said I was in the eastern control room, it would mean the culprit could have escaped through the southern door. It would have meant that there could have been a third person. All I wanted to do was protect Starbuck. I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for a third person.
What a convoluted lie. Was he really covering for the defendant? Or his own bitch ass?
It looks like we've come to a conclusion. That the defense's argument, the possibility of a third person, is crumbled.
No! Huh, it's over. Yikes. The judge is about to hand down his verdict. Think, Phoenix, think. This is the perfect time to try and turn my thinking around. If a third person had no way of escaping the scene, then what if one of the people at the scene was this third person? Wait, what if the whole premise is all wrong? Here we go again. What if everything we ever said was wrong? Director Cosmos said that he and Detective Arm rushed to the scene together. But what if that premise isn't true? What if one of them reached the scene before the other one? And if that person entered the lounge, then they would be the third person.
The defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim and shot at the director. There doesn't appear to be any room for an argument against these claims. I will now render my verdict.
Objection!
Please, wait, Your Honor. There is still one possibility.
Oh, this had better be good, Mr. Wright.
There is one and only one person who could have escaped from the scene, and that person would be the first person who arrived on the scene. Then upon entering the boarding lounge, the second person to arrive came via the southern door. That's why the first person fled from the room, using an escape route that was accessible only to them.
Very well, let's hear more about this theory. Who is this person who could have escaped from the boarding room lounge?
Dude, it's the director himself. He's the only one, right? He's the only one. And the reason why I say that, well, like, I see where this is going now. We're basically going to imply that he got there first. This whole thing went down. Then Director Arm showed up while he was doing his thing. Then he got fired at. Now, here's the thing, though. What bullets hit what here? Because, like, that 10 caliber bullet, or that .10 caliber bullet, where did that go? Like, where did that hit? Like, did he really just shoot it and it went into the wall and landed? Like, okay, if there was 3 bullets accounted for, right, that we have counted for, like, what they hit. One hit the screen, one hit the tank, and one hit his badge. Right? We don't necessarily know for sure that which one hit his badge, do we? Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But anyway, the only person who could have escaped from the boarding lounge is you, sir.
Take that!
What? But that's...
Yeah.
Mr. Wright, what are you claiming here?
Of all the people who were at the scene, only the witness could have escaped. The director is the only one with the authority to open the control room door, after all.
But that means...
Exactly. The true identity of the third person is our current witness. Director Yuri Cosmos, biatch! Yeah, that's right. What? What? Yeah, I've already suspected him from the beginning. Absolutely. This is not a surprise.
Order! Order in the court, I say! Mr. Wright, you will explain yourself in more detail.
I assert that Director Cosmos arrived at the scene before Detective Arm and entered the boarding lounge alone. I keep wanting to say boarding room. I need to stop it. Boarding lounge alone. Detective Arm arrived after that and saw a suspicious figure who was actually Director Cosmos standing in the lounge. And that's why she fired those 2 warning shots. Yeah, I've been hit! I've been hit on the starboard side! Captain Wright, it's a direct hit on the enemy ship, sir. Magnificent shot. Warning shots fired from the enemy ship. Prepare to intercept.
Cosmos, you have told a lie in this court once again.
I've been hit! I've been hit on the port side! The enemy has called for reinforcements!
Earth to Cosmos Control Center, requesting permission to ask that you return to reality.
But my ship will not go down to anything less than the ultimate weapon of evidence.
Objection!
But I do have evidence. In fact, you could say that your battleship bears its scar.
No.
If Director Cosmos is the third person Aura Blackwell saw, this third person fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with their gun. Uh-huh. And in return, the detective fired her warning shots. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos?
It looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us.
Director Cosmos must have been the one who fired the 10 caliber gun. When Detective Arm discovered him in the lounge, it only makes sense that he would have turned and shot at her. Therefore, the evidence on the director's body is of a different kind of relevance than before. Once we compare it against another piece of evidence, the mark that you receive from the third party will be all the proof we need to prove that you were the one in the lounge.
Brace for further impact.
Comparison against this piece of evidence will prove that you were the one in the lounge. So, okay. So, this bullet is the one that must have hit his badge. Period. Yep.
Take that!
The .38 caliber bullet found on the floor at the scene didn't hit the oxygen tank. It hit Director Cosmos' metal. If we have that ricochet mark on the metal analyzed, I'm sure the caliber will match up. And if that mark proves to be from a .38 caliber bullet, it will prove that you are the third person we've been looking for.
Gah! The bridge is destroyed. Losing altitude. All hands abandon ship.
If that's true, then what about the bullet that hit the oxygen tank?
It was the .10 caliber bullet. In other words, it was the bullet fired by Yuri Cosmos. Isn't that right, Director?
No, you've got it all wrong. What? The engines have started again. It's a miracle. I'm not going down yet.
Witness, stop this at once and confess the truth.
If you don't want the history books to say that a great man was a great liar, then accept your fate and tell the truth.
Are you giving me orders? Me, the great director of the Cosmos Space Center? Ah, but the cosmos revolves around me.
Oh my god.
Ah, someone get me off of this thing.
Ridiculous.
Order! Order in the court! And will someone please stop the witness from spinning?
Just take him off of that thing in general, man. He's ridiculous.
Whew. Thank goodness we were able to stop him from spinning off the face of the earth.
While he was twirling, I took the liberty of running an analysis on the mark on the metal. It was made by a .38 caliber bullet, matching it with the size of Detective Arm's firearm.
No!
Are you ready to confess the truth, witness?
No! You've got it all wrong! This is just a misunderstanding!
Is he going to start piling on more lies? Looks like it. No matter how many lies he tells, I'll just expose them one by one. I'll make that big liar tell the truth. I'll make his liar pants on fire ass stop it. Wait, to be continued? The fuck? What do you mean to be continued? You can't just stop in the middle of the trial. The fuck? Well, I guess you can. Well, we're not done.